Hello, welcome to. I just called it Daredevil Sports Show, but for anybody who knows me, the partner in crime. This is JD Sports. This is not how it started per se for me, but definitely the bulk of my podcasting career was right here. I
Yep.
mean, not this house, but right here, this house. So,
We messed up. We didn't even hit him with the intro.
well, that's why I wanted to start the way I did because I wanted to miss the intro. I needed to hit him with the intro.
Too
Sweet. JD Sports, we're back. Okay. The reason I say that is because we had a text conversation while I was at my job yesterday, and I was like, I've been saying for months I want to switch it up. I need to have somebody to bounce some ideas off of, or just have some friends on here. Maybe just go off, talk about a random 1 year sports championship team type thing. Like do something different.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, nah, I'm gonna hit my boy up, and even if we have to go back to the old school, the way it needs to be, then there is no talks about a JD Sports number 2 going again, or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, but so
He gonna try.
and even if it's once a month, you know what I mean. We'll discuss that off air, I guess. All right, we're here to talk about the NBA playoffs. The reason I had to bring the old show back together is because the Knicks are good, and we can't not. Oh, that's not all right. Sorry, we're not like. Oh, yeah. He's like, no, we can't be like everybody else. JD Sports is not like JD Sports is not like the national media where we just jump on everything. All right. So yeah,
the Knicks are good.
According to one win against Trae Young in the Garden, after they lost to Trae Young in the Garden, now they're back.
Hey, they were loud. They were loud.
Oh yeah. The fans had fun. We have to talk. And I am too. Look, I'm happy for all the NBA fans, but I mean, it wasn't. It was cool. It was great. It was an awesome environment. It was special, but I mean, playoff basketball should be special. I wasn't this wasn't unexpected for people who watch sports. I'm glad it's back. I don't know. It was too romanticized, and that's just the way to put it. Like I don't know.
Do you believe in the Knicks? Because I damn sure don't believe in the Knicks.
I picked the Hawks. I picked the Hawks before the series. Like look.
So did I.
I know I said this to you. The retread Knicks are just not. I love D Rose, but we're talking the day after he played 40 minutes, scored the most points for either team and lost. Like he can't play 40 minutes in an NBA game or in an NBA playoff game and be the reason that you're going to be a good playoff team. It's just not possible. And I love Derrick Rose, but I mean,
you said it best earlier. You were like, it's just a bunch of people who are like leftovers of the NBA.
They were good on other teams. They were good on other teams.
And look, they're in the position they're in because of those players, and I'm not mad at those players. One of them was Julius Randle, who was a Laker. I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at his success. I'm not mad at D Rose.
My guy Trey Burke.
I'm not mad at any of them. But to come in here and think that any one of those
Taj Gibson,
it's a matchup for Trae Young.
And even so, okay, so they get past They get past the Hawks. I'm not trying to brag, but then they get the Sixers. Like,
come on, man. Okay, let's say even if the Knicks
get past the Hawks,
even if the Knicks get past the Hawks,
I don't think they're going.
That's it.
But
they're not. It's over.
Trae Young had like 4 assists in the first 3 minutes of Friday night's game. So it was like that. Like if they take both at home, I'm with you. I don't think it's gonna be close. Atlanta should easily take it then. I like Thibodeau, and I like Taj Gibson, and
Thibodeau gets a bad rep, and he keeps getting jobs for his reputation.
And they keep making the playoffs. They keep making the playoffs with their best player, as D Rose and Taj Gibson. I understand.
People know what he wanted. It's cool, but you said it earlier too. This is their ceiling.
Oh yeah. So if what we were talking about was how Julius Randle is definitely the best player on the Knicks, and he was 5th in the MVP. He hasn't been the best player for them in these 3 playoff games, which would be alarming. But again, what do you expect? Anyway, so he was 5th in the MVP voting, or that's the conversation. And that's what I said earlier. I said, well, that's good and that's great for them, but if he's 5th in the MVP voting, that's as high as they can go, and they're still the 4 seed. It's not happening.
Yeah,
they're not going.
I mean, look, it's an improvement from years prior, sure. Is it something to be so hyped and excited about? Let's say the Knicks are back or whatever.
So that's where
absolutely not. This is the ceiling that they're at, which is cool. But then what's next? That's my question. What's next? Okay, let's say it's over. They lost, and they're going to lose. They're not going to lose. Let's just call it what it is. So when they lose, right, and that was all season. Now what?
Who you go get?
Who wants to play for y'all?
Well, and
Because everybody's going to the other team.
So the conversations are like people are trying, like the media is saying like people got to be worried about the Knicks getting free agents, and I was like, I still don't see that. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not saying they do, but
the Knicks, we got to worry about the Knicks' free agency. Historically, who have they got?
nobody, not free agents.
They got Melo once, they got Amari once.
But they got Melo through a trade. They had to trade over half their roster to get him.
So they got Amari.
He wanted
once.
to go, but it was still technically not a free agent. And
So then who else did they get? Remember when they were supposed to get KD? Man.
remember when they were supposed to get LeBron and his wife said no?
Oh.
Do you believe that, by the way? His wife said no, so that's why I didn't go? I don't
No,
believe
but
that.
that's hilarious. I hope that's the case.
I don't believe that for a second. They
hope.
said that his wife said that he couldn't go to the Knicks, and that's why he decided to not entertain that idea. I do not believe that.
That's hilarious. Look, so look, can we just...
I think she said you shouldn't go to the Knicks, but that's not why he didn't go to the Knicks. Say what you want. That's just not why he did.
Let's put it this way. As far as the Knicks are concerned, and as far as being good for the league needs the Knicks to be a success for the betterment of the league. First of all, give me a second. First of all,
I'm going to give you the floor here.
The Knicks haven't been relevant since when?
1999, they made the finals as an AC. That's the last time that they went past the second round.
Okay, and then before that, last time they were relevant?
Like the 60s.
The 60s or 70s? The 70s, I think, is the last time they
won?
won?
70s, yeah, you're probably right.
Okay, so...
Phil Jackson's era, playing basketball. Playing.
Yeah.
As the sixth man.
So let's talk about how important it is for the Knicks to be a success for the betterment of the NBA. Man, I'll tell you what, the NBA must have been through some... Man, we've been struggling for like 40 years at this point because the Knicks haven't been anything for 40 years, whatever it's been. Man, you know what? And then here's where it got worse for the Knicks, though. Not only have they not been anything for the past 20 years, relatively speaking, then Brooklyn showed up, and everybody decided, oh, Brooklyn's the place to be.
So don't get me wrong.
I'm going to go to Brooklyn and go kick it over here.
The players did, yeah. That's how the players decided.
So who is the Knicks getting?
Brooklyn is trying to give away playoff tickets in this first round. I'm not going to lie. It's crazy how terrible I'm hearing things about how that's going with their fan base. And then you look at the Knicks across the town, and you're like, they won one playoff game, and that's how you guys act. They can't even give tickets away to the better team in the city. Okay.
All of a sudden, the Knicks are back because they got that one too.
My thought on this though, we like historically good franchises. Like we like now the Sixers aren't historically good. Your Lakers are the historically good standard. Them and the Celtics. Right. But Sixers have like a historical whatever, and so
I give it to them more than I give it to the Knicks.
Okay, and that's where I'm at with this. Okay, that's what I'm trying to explain to you. It's not like we know that when the Lakers weren't good, it meant nothing. You were still watching the rest of the NBA ball out, right? Like when the Lakers before LeBron got there and everything was kind of not that great, things were still happening. Like the Warriors were dominating and the league was chilling. So the Sixers went through an entire thing called the process where they tried to lose. I watched the rest of the league keep going.
Right.
I'm never gonna abide by the whole. Is it more fun for us and for the national media and for fans? Is it more fun when a Yankees, the Knicks, the Notre Dame, the Cowboys, whoever? Like, sure, absolutely, it is more fun. It does not matter in the grand scheme of anything if they're good or not. Because if they're not good, they're going to get talked about and made fun of. And if they are good, they're going to get talked about the way the Knicks are getting talked about. The Lakers were a punching bag for 2.5 years when Julius Randle was with them. You know, and I took joy in myself in being like my team sucked forever. Screw you guys. But
here's the thing.
It doesn't matter.
Look, it doesn't matter. The NBA clearly doesn't need the Knicks to quote unquote.
Oklahoma City can be good, and people are watching.
Does the Knicks being good help? Sure, we can say that it helps.
I agree. It's fun.
You know who the Knicks are? Boston, LA, as in the Lakers.
Agreed, yeah.
Brooklyn's getting there just because more so there's a reputation. Everybody wants to just
good they are.
Yeah, and people are choosing that more than anything. But and then Golden State was kind of that too. Like they were.
So Brooklyn became a cool thing because you're still in the city, but you ain't gotta go play for James Dolan.
Oh, there it is.
I mean, that's really what Brooklyn became, the place where like Kyrie was like, I get to still go. I grew up in Jersey, so he grew up a Nets fan. But his thought is like, I can go play in New York City.
I'm still technically in New York.
I mean, I've been to New York City a couple times. It's fun. I'm a city person. I love cities. Philadelphia is my favorite place in the world. I love cities. New York was amazing. I like going to the city of New York, so I could see the appeal of being like, well, I don't want to go play for the Knicks, but I could go still live in the city and play NBA basketball.
And I got there with this owner.
And now I can bring Durant and Harden.
I don't got to worry about Patrick Ewing getting kicked out the building.
And
Like, cool.
They're gonna hire, they're gonna go out and get a coach that Jason Kidd. You know what I mean? Or not Jason Kidd.
Steve Nash. Yeah. They got Steve Nash.
White guards. But not. So we're on the same page. Back to the series itself, because this is why I wanted to bring him on, because it's right now the first round of the NBA is more storylines than it is games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, games are fun. We watch them. People like him and I watch them for sure. But at the end of the day, it's more the storylines. So we're here to kind of more break that down. The Trae Young storyline is fun though, and that's the only thing I want to say about the games. I know I went into his assists. He ended up with 14 assists on Friday night. He's doing everything. I know he can't really play defense yet, but I think that time will come. He's only 21. You know what I mean? Exactly.
He's gonna be all right. Atlanta should be excited. Look, if he sticks around, hopefully it doesn't turn into a Portland situation.
Yeah.
But he sticks around, he gets another piece or two. That could be cool.
No,
He's a baller.
He's
gonna be scary for years to come.
Yeah.
So good for Atlanta.
And he's doing what he has to. I mean, they're gonna beat the Knicks. I think they're gonna get a first round series win. So
look, Atlanta will still be here in 3 years. The Knicks are probably
Well, that's the thing. So
that's
the other side of it. The core of these two teams, you're taking Atlanta over 5. If you're putting money on either of these teams to be successful in 5 years, there's no way you can trust the Knicks with their best players, Julius Randle and D Rose, right now. And there's nothing against those two players who I like. I'm taking the Trae Young one every day of the week.
Yeah, easy.
We're just talking about Brooklyn, so I'll keep it with the Brooklyn and Boston. Tatum had to score 50 on Friday to beat them. And they beat them. Boston beat them. But he had to score 50. I mean, that's where I'm at with that. It's
honestly, I'm surprised it's not a sweep.
Well, okay, I am very shocked it's not a sweep either. But my only thought is this, and I've been banking on this as a Sixers fan. It's kind of only been my hoping, saving grace, is that they didn't play well. They have not played enough together, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, those three, playing on the road in the playoffs is different. And the Celtics, as bad as they've been this year, they've been to the Eastern Conference Finals a couple years in a row. So, it's still they still have that kind of whatever. I mean, that thing you need in the playoffs. I hate to call the experience that big of a deal, but
it is.
In that situation, the togetherness of what the Celtics have had, even with the injuries and whatnot over the last couple of years, over Brooklyn might be the difference. But again, it took for Jason Tatum to score 50.
Right.
The way for them to get to the playoffs through that play-in game was Jason Tatum scoring 50, and the only way for them to beat Brooklyn in the actual playoffs is to score 50 by Jason Tatum.
So you mean tell me he got to do this 3 more times?
There's no way. It's
unfathomable.
They only have 3 more home games.
And look, and with all due respect to Jason Tatum, he cool and all, but he's also not going to be doing that for him.
No.
He's not. He won't. Okay, I won't say he won't do it again this series, but I doubt
if he does it again. If he does it again this series, they still might lose the game.
I think that's a damn shame.
And that's where
that's not his fault.
No. He's the baller. There's no blame on him. Actually.
No, but that's
he's in a good position if you want to be a star player on a losing team at the moment. I mean, it's what you do. You're balling out, and who's going to blame you for losing? You can't do nothing more than he is. But
damn it, I don't want to double down on this, but it sounds like he should just went to the Knicks.
Do you believe in Tatum and Jaylen Brown as as two guys who can be
I like Tatum.
I did.
Brown's okay. I don't know. I don't dislike Brown. He's cool. He's a solid piece, but he's not the one. He's not the one.
I do not mean to be disrespectful. Cool. Isn't he closer to Patrick Beverly than a superstar?
Oh, damn. All right, yeah, he's definitely above Beverly, but
no.
Look,
I'm saying on the spectrum. Of course, he's still far away from him. I'm saying on the spectrum of here's the superstar and here's Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, he's in the middle. I get. He's leaning more towards the superstar, but yeah.
And that's what I mean. So I wasn't trying to do this. I'm just Patrick Beverly is a good he's a guy. He's in the NBA. We know who he is. So that's why I was using him as that benchmark. But
yeah, no, he's definitely better than that. But yeah, he's not. Right. He's not that superstar. No,
and you need
he's a third piece. He's a great third piece.
I agree with that. Yeah. All right.
I would give him a second piece. He's a great third piece.
And I really did. I thought him, Kyrie. I was scared of it. Kyrie, Kemba. Kyrie, and Jaylen Brown and Tatum. I was scared of those 3 together, and I'm not really scared of Kemba. And I like Kemba, but I'm not scared of those 3 for whatever reason. I like Tatum, but
They just don't have that roar about them, honestly. Like they're not coming off as that
Well, that
scary threat.
and
They're just not.
so they were holding Embiid down early in his career. They were the only team that I saw hold Embiid down, but it's because they had Al Horford.
I was
And
about
then
to
they
say,
let Al
because they had
Horford
Al
go.
Horford
They
go
let
up.
Al Horford go to the six. I was like, and since then, Embiid has literally dominated them. They beat the heck out of him without Simmons last year when Simmons got hurt. They beat the crap out of Sixers in the playoffs. But when Simmons and Embiid have played together,
Yep.
the Celtics have not been able to contain Embiid since they
That's
got rid of Al
crazy.
Horford.
That's crazy, right? It's almost like size does matter in the NBA.
Wow.
We'll get to.
We're going to talk about that for
but
sure.
it's almost like size still does matter as much as that.
Absolutely, as much as the shooting. You need the shooting.
I understand. We're in this age where shooting
Place
is
to
important.
build.
Everybody and their mama got to shoot a three. That's just the age that we're living in right now. But you still need somebody that is going to crash that board, who's going to protect that paint, and just dominate down low.
So the playoffs,
and then when a team like Philly has that dude, and you don't got somebody to match that, he's just going to do what he wants.
He's putting up 30 plus a game easily in the playoffs. Even last year when they got swept by Boston, he had 30 plus in every game. So the thing with that though is how I look at it. What you're exactly saying, Philly, LA, whoever else you want to bring in with the big guy. Defense in the playoffs tightens up, right?
Yep.
So your outside shooting isn't as much there. And so that means you got to bring it inside more. And if you have a guy like Embiid or Anthony Davis that's inside, well, nobody else has that. You are a rare team. So those teams built from there out.
And look, unless you go to State, you got Stephen Clay out there doing that thing. That's different. But other than that,
that's why I'm like.
But other than that, like it doesn't necessarily work.
I look at Brooklyn, not to get off topic with matchups and stuff, but I look at the Sixers in Brooklyn as, look, Simmons and Thibault can take two, okay? Mm-hmm. Durant's going to go off. He's going to do what he's got to do. You let him go off.
You got to.
Who's stopping Embiid? Durant and Embiid can match each other points-wise. You just got to slow up the other two, and hopefully Tobias, who has been a baller this season and been a baller in
I'll give
against
it to him.
Washington.
I've talked trash on him, but he's been all right this year. No, it's not about being wrong because he was being Tobias Harris and being every other game Tobias Harris until this year. I'll give it to him this year. You got it once. Congratulations.
Look, this will be a good segue to explain why I was wrong. I wanted to keep Jimmy Butler over him. Hold on.
You still want to keep Jimmy Butler over him?
Listen, hear me out. Why? For the Sixers, hear me out. Why? They need the points, bro. Tobias can get the buckets.
Jimmy Butler can get the buckets.
That's literally his name. He got that name. I know, but he's not getting the buckets. So, like the reason that the Heat are so far behind is because they don't have anybody who can match with the three of Milwaukee right now.
Time out, because you about to lose.
He's not doing it.
Time out. But he just did it to the finals last year.
That's okay.
And he did it in Philly, and he's that defender.
But he wasn't the top scorer in any of those situations. And the Sixers need somebody who can be the top scorer on any given night. And Tobias Harris can be the top scorer for them on any given night.
For 1 year. Is he going to do it next year? We know what Jimmy Butler's going to do. We know
what
Tobias Harris is going to keep doing it,
so
we don't know.
Maybe I wasn't 100% wrong because I still look. I would have today, and I still would have stood on that stance of taking Jimmy Butler over him. It is what it is, and I would have been okay. Wouldn't have been bad.
Right now, yeah, it looks good. Does it look good right now? Sure, it looks good this year.
But that's my thing. If they saw that long term where Jimmy Butler wasn't going to continue to score at that rate and Tobias Harris was going to continue to score at the rate that he was, if not now.
First of all, that's their mindset. I got some questions for that organization because you bang on Jimmy
Look,
Butler.
I don't like how he's the one who made the decision. Now, we got a better GM in there, Montgomery. Back to the Milwaukee and Heat thing.
This man said, I'll take Jimmy Butler to go somewhere else.
It worked. I can't argue. Tobias is actually the reason that the points are there.
This year, one time.
I know, I hear you, but this year could be the year that
Jimmy Butler took him to the finals last year.
But
on his back.
And again, not against that.
And he damn near took y'all on his back.
And I agreed.
Is Tobias Harris going to carry y'all on his back?
He has. To the point. To this point.
And Embiid's carrying y'all.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Okay, and so that's the other thing. That is the other thing about it. You don't know if he would have been able to match with Embiid.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? And I agree. Because Jimmy Butler's game might not have had to be that. Embiid might be averaging 4 or 5 more points a game. We wouldn't have to. Wouldn't matter. It just wouldn't matter.
Mm.
Milwaukee and Miami. Again, that's why I brought him on. Milwaukee and Miami. Look, the overall difference. I wanted to come in here and just break it down and be like this, that, and the next thing. No, I'll just tell you right now. Tyler Hero is not averaging anything. Like he's become a scrub, and like we were talking about them going to the finals last year, dude. That's him and that racist Miles Leonard, who's not even with them anymore. They were buckets in the final, and not just in the final, in the whole playoffs last year. They were buckets.
Hero looked like the second coming,
bro. I just was having this conversation on Twitter the other day. Do you realize the only reason the Heat do not have James Harden today is because when they had the exclusive deal with the Rockets, it was just them two talking, nobody else. This was before it was even out that he wanted traded. This was like maybe Houston's trading, maybe not. Nobody was sure. Miami made the phone call, and Houston put together a trade, and Miami wouldn't give Tyler Hero up. They literally kept taking Tyler Hero out of the trade.
And that's aged well, huh?
They kept taking him out of the trade and saying, "We'll do we'll do this trade. We'll do this trade." They were trading anybody but him, and I think Bam Adebayo, and obviously Jimmy. But like Tyler Hero was in it. They were not giving him up because of what he did in the bubble last year.
Okay.
And now you would have James Harden today. I'm not saying it's wrong because it looks bad today.
Hey, look, I was about to say. So okay.
No, it's hard. It's impossible to see that this was going to happen with Tyler Hero.
Okay, today, yeah, it looks terrible.
It could be turned around if it got this bad, though, right?
Yeah, definitely. And so this is what I'll say about. This is what I'll be saying about, and I've said on the OJD Sports Show about buying into hype too quickly. And this is what I was just getting into with Tobias Harris just now. Okay, Tobias Harris has historically been Mr. Inconsistent. This year he's a baller. Do you buy into that now, or do you go with historically?
I got you.
This is why I can't stand when teams and fans jump into this. Well, what they're doing right now, clearly this is what it's going to be forever. That's not always the case. That happens. I don't want to use the phrase, but it's in a bubble moment. You know what I mean? Like it's only for a short period of time that this might be the case, and then they go back to being a scrub. I'm not saying Tyler Hero's a scrub, but what I'm saying is
he's been a scrub.
To now look into the situation of, oh, we kept Tyler Hero, which at the time probably made sense.
Yeah.
Well, you could have had a James Harden.
So I remember...
You look kind of stupid now.
I remember debating it at the time and saying, look, and this was even me, when the Sixers were involved, just being like, I didn't want to give up Matisse Thybulle or Maxey, the guy that just drafted. I didn't want to give up either of those two guys because they were young and I think they're going to be good. But I was saying, if that's really the only thing holding us back from winning a championship this year, we're done. Like I love those guys and I want them to be part of the Sixers organization franchise for as long as possible. But I was also just like, if they genuinely know that James Harden with Simmons and Embiid and basically Danny Green and Curry and whatever the other pieces you want to put around, if you know that core can win you the championship. Yep. Give it up 5 years from now. Don't worry about 5 years from now today. So I was having this debate
that makes sense.
At that time with the whole Tyler Hero thing too, and I was like, I don't know if I'd trade him either, but I'm a championship mindset. So look, I've been getting in arguments with people on Facebook and Twitter all the time because my mindset is do what you need to do today. You don't have 5 years from now. You're not going to be the GM in 5 years by making moves for the next GM. Win the championship today. You know how you get 5 years from now if you won.
Especially when you're in that position. Lakers. Remember when everybody was giving me shit about
the AD thing?
Oh man, Lakers gave too much.
Dude, we were the only two.
They gave too much. Anthony Davis comes in in 2 years, wins a championship.
We were the only two. We're looking at it. By the way, we looked at everybody like, what the heck are you guys talking about?
By the way, AD ended up resigning with the Lakers. So
and
they got a chip. But it's not worth it? It's not worth it.
I'll never forget the conversations you and I were having. We were like, wait a second. You're telling me he can either stay with the Pelicans or go to LA
and immediately become a title contender with LeBron.
Be the face of the Lakers after LeBron leaves. Have a couple championships in your back pocket, so no matter what you do after he leaves, you're already royalty anyways.
And Lakers got to give up, what? Randall, Lonzo, Ingram. Other than Randall, who went to the Knicks, then where are those boys at right now?
Ingram's balling, but they're not in the playoffs.
No, not point. But
Lonzo's actually played really well. Lonzo played well the last 2 months of the season, but not the whole season. I will say that.
That's cute. Where they at?
No,
who got the championship? And this is to go back to your point. And this is the point with Miami, and this is the point with Philly. Like, you want to win now. Like, if you could win now, go all in on winning now.
All right, I don't want to get completely off topic, but I got to ask them because we're already having the conversation. Like, the Aaron Rodgers thing. Would you not, if you were 90% of teams, do what you need to do to go get him? If you're the Dolphins,
Okay, Tom, I have to laugh because I'm laughing because first, for like the past like month and a half, it's been breaking news every single day that Aaron Rodgers is unhappy and wants to leave. It starts every single show on,
oh, I
especially
know.
on ESPN. I laugh. I get annoyed every single time. I'm like, we know. But
He wants
anyway,
out.
yes. Look, and I understand they don't want to give him up. He's the MVP. He's
Nor
Aaron
should
Rodgers.
they.
I get it.
They
He's also
probably
unhappy.
shouldn't have pissed him off. But
You're not wrong. And if I'm any other team, I'm trying to give up
Okay.
whatever I can, especially if I can win. I'm getting Aaron Rodgers to
and we don't have to go down and break all 32 teams down on why they should go get Aaron Rodgers. But like my point on the whole like Miami, dude, I'd give up Tua in a second. I like Tua. I'd give up Tua in a heartbeat. Tua and whatever you want for Aaron
Tyler
Rodgers.
Hero
Yeah, I'll give you Tua and Tyler Hero
for James Harden.
and Tyler Hero's Instagram girlfriend because that dude, they're claiming that he just became a celebrity in Miami. So like literally everything I'm seeing is like, and you know me, I hate the whole let's psychoanalyze athletes that we've never had a conversation with, right? So it's really funny to me right now. People are saying that Tyler Hero's not good because when they were in the bubble, he couldn't go out in Miami, he couldn't party, he couldn't, you know what I mean, be a
Right.
celebrity.
Mhm.
They were in a bubble, like there's nothing to do. You're
Right.
hooping, and if you're a hooper, you're good. Now he got out the bubble. He is dating some girl off IG who's an IG model. He's living the, going to the clubs and doing all that kind of stuff. So people are like psychoanalyzing and being like his fall off's that. And I'm just like, maybe.
I was about to say, maybe.
Maybe, I'm
it all
not-
go to his head.
It could have, but he's
or
also
maybe-
like 21 years old.
Okay, so he's still young.
That's what I mean. He's playing.
He's
He's
still
played
trying
1
to
year
figure it
of
out.
college basketball. Like, let's give him some time.
He also maybe he's just going through. Maybe he's not that good. Or
Yeah.
maybe he really is just having an off year. It'd be like that too. Wait and see. But
2 years into his career, I'm not trying to say his whole career is determined
No,
by
heck
either.
Heck no. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's easy to say in hindsight, but yeah, they probably should have got him.
Well, okay, so clearly right now, okay. But now the reason, so I said open this up with saying that's the reason. The thing I like about Milwaukee is that Milwaukee they know who they are. The thing I don't like about them is that they can't, if they're not leading, they're not going to win. Like they have to be leading the games to win them most of the time, and it's just like,
Like I said, Milwaukee has broken my heart way too many times. I'm not buying into them. And I love Giannis.
I love Giannis.
Middleton's cool.
I like Holiday. I love.
They're all cool. And Giannis is a trooper for re-signing. But listen here, they done broke my heart way too many times. I'm not here for this they've arrived nonsense because I'm good.
Well, I agree. They've been here, so you need to actually arrive.
They've been
in the parking lot. They haven't really been here. They've been outside the door, like we heard about them for a long time. Into the west side of the bracket, since we spent so much time on the east side.
We spent a minute on the East Coast.
Well, we talked about a lot of things. This is what JD Sports is about. We don't just talk about what we're supposed to. All right, so Portland, Denver. I picked Portland before the series. I will say this is a pretty good one, like matchup for matchup.
Yeah, definitely.
Donovan Mitchell playing changes it a little bit. Like Denver probably is the better team. I still stick with Portland on the basis of I just really like Melo and I really like Dame Lillard. Like that. Like Melo has been one of my favorite players forever. Like so, I'm just rooting for him all the time. But Dame Lillard is that guy.
Lillard's that dude. Man.
When they are healthy, they're a top 4 West team.
But,
they're a scary top 4 West team.
But
I know, I got you. But the same with Denver. Denver's not fully healthy either. And didn't they get Gordon in the middle of the year, right? So
Gordon Hayward.
No. I'm the guy from Orlando.
Oh,
Aaron.
Yeah.
So that helped them a lot too, and they got their big 3: Jokic. Why the hell did I say Mitchell? Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray's not coming back either.
No,
Yeah, I'm mixing all of it up now.
That's what's rough though.
But yeah, that is. So that's why I picked Portland on top of it. Either way, Denver got a game, or Denver's up 2-1. So I mean, they got a game on them. But
look, if they're healthy, they're a threat. They're what they were last postseason, which is a legitimate threat. But right now,
yeah, Denver, and I agree with you. So if they beat Portland, you're saying like, man, I got you.
They're cool and all, but unless they're 100%, which they're not going to be.
I agree.
No, I'm good. I mean, look, I'm like
there are other ballers. Fucking losing his name right now. I can't remember. But anyways, yeah, keep going.
Listen, I love Dame Lillard. Like I'm a huge Dame Lillard fan.
Yeah,
but unfortunately, it's always time. But unfortunately, here's the thing. Like, and you're gonna appreciate this, and I'll finally admit it. They're like what Philly was those years where it was like this is their ceiling and this is as far as they can go. So you can either like be cool with it or like try to move around it. Unfortunately, they're like, okay, we're going to keep Dame, but then they don't really add anything around it, whether or not it's because people just don't want to go there or it's the organization.
Right, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I like CJ McCollum as well.
He's
like,
great.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You need another one. You need another Dame. CJ needs to be.
CJ's a number 3.
He needs to be number 3. He needs to be 2A.
Yeah, I agree.
2B, whatever.
It could be very much like what was happening in Toronto when Kawhi was with Toronto, right?
Yep.
Like Lowry, and then Van Vliet, and then Siakam. So like you need a little bit of all of that, where they only have 2, and they need more.
And they never really improved.
Right.
They added Melo. Cool. Shouts to Melo.
Yeah.
I've been the biggest, crap talker of Melo.
Yeah, right. No. He's been playing well for when his comeback, but he's a 6th man, 7th man.
Yeah. Shout outs to him. He's doing his thing. He's chilling. He's knowing his role, shutting his mouth, doing what he needs to do.
You're right, though. They are in that middle ground that the Sixers were always forever going to be in, and that's why they started the process. And as much as it sucked to go through the process,
y'all don't forget how long that shit took.
It took forever, and I don't forget, but you're right. A lot of the fans do forget how that was terrible.
That took a long time.
But they're here because of that, and they're not in Portland's situation. They would still be in Portland's situation, and that's just kind of where I'm with you. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I've always been on the mindset if you can be as long as you're competitive and you're respectable, roll with that.
I used to think that way too.
I kind of get it.
I'm fully on the other side.
That's because it worked out.
But it's not just with the Sixers. I'm talking look at what the Thunder are doing. They're doing the process better. Like they have triple the amount of picks the Sixers did. Yeah. They're terrible. They had a terrible season. They had another 3 or 4 seasons of being this bad, but they have tripled the amount of picks. So when the Clippers, who we're going to get to, are no good in 3, 4, 5 years from now and have no way of getting better for the next 3, 4 years after that, the Thunder are literally going to just be eating up their top 5 picks.
Yeah, and I mean, the Clippers just aren't good now, but
Well, that's what I'm going to say. We'll definitely get to that. So, I'm still, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter. I picked Portland, so I'm just going to stick with Portland winning that series. But it's an interesting series. I'm glad it's competitive, even with Murray being out. If Jokic, he's going to win the MVP because he played more games than Embiid, which is really ridiculous, but whatever. Yeah, the regular season MVP really doesn't mean as much, unfortunately.
It really doesn't.
Utah, Memphis. That's the one, Mitchell. Now, I was back and forth before Mitchell came back. Still thought Utah has the better roster, but my God, Ja. Like, I love Ja Morant. I like him more than I like Trae Young, but I don't
hate it.
I've been a fan of Ja Morant bigger than I like Trae Young.
I was going to say, I was going to get offensive.
No, I get it.
No, he's cool. Ja Morant, he's solid. I'm not mad. That's the future. Ja Morant,
Trae Young. I love, and those two are, yes, I agree. That's why I threw those two together, because I really like Trae Young, but I love Ja Morant putting up almost 50 the other day. I mean, he's awesome to watch. 1-1 in that series, so even just getting a couple wins is a win for them. You know, that's going to give Memphis the morale and the whatever moving forward. So
you got.
Well, I mean, it doesn't. Utah is going to probably win the series, but again, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. They're not.
I know.
Even if they win the next series,
but I mean right now.
I got Utah.
All right, same.
I'm rooting for Memphis though. If that, makes sense.
Yeah. No.
Mavs Clippers.
Woo!
If Kristaps Porzingis scored more than 9 points in 30-plus minutes, 35-plus minutes on Friday, it'd be 3-0 Mavs. They were up by 18 points there quick.
This other LA team that just refuses to go away. And shouts to all their fans, though, right? I feel like I say this every time we talk about the Clippers. Talk
about the Brooklyn trying to give away tickets.
Man, oh God.
Brooklyn has at least Brooklyn has a home court.
Here's a JD Sports throwback. Remember Lob City? Where them Lob City fans at, man? Come on. Look, I love Kawhi. I was mad when he didn't come to LA. I was really mad. I was banking on it.
I liked Kawhi, but
he said that in past tense. Look.
He's still a baller. I still love watching him play.
When he wants to be. Up when he wants to do in the playoffs.
He's a great player. He's not a great leader. And I don't say, me. I've tried my hardest not to take shots at athletes like that, but there's just no way around it. Like San Antonio, he had the core there. They won some championships.
And you got Pop.
Cord disappeared. He had I supported him on the being mad at the organization.
Yeah, it was over.
So whatever.
Cool.
Went to Toronto.
Did his thing.
Already had a core there though. Like Lowry was the guy, and the organization had been building for years, and they were just one step away. And he didn't have to be the vocal leader or the leader. He didn't. Sure, he has the clutch shot against the Sixers, will forever live. But he wasn't always the clutch. He wasn't always the guy that they gave the ball to down the stretch. Like he got it. He ended up being that guy towards the end.
Right.
But he didn't always have to be that guy.
He was a baller, but no, you're right. He didn't have to be it.
The
Because you had Kyle Lowry out there.
The Clippers. I get Paul
What you
George
mean?
out
I was about
there.
to say, what you mean? Playoff? He showed up once. Hey, he gets one game a year, right? Every playoff series, he gets one. He gets one game. Playoff P. Woo! You remember what I used to, say playoff P actually stood for?
He
Plays like a pile of trash. Just edit it a little bit. Hey, he had his one. Shouts to playoff
I
P.
hate that he turned into a punching bag. Like, what else is there for him? Man? Like,
Because what else is there
he's
for him?
just that's what he is at the moment. I mean,
Who's okay?
they gave up their entire future to get him.
Who's a bigger joke, him or Russ at this point? You. I love Russ.
Him.
Okay, yeah, it is him. I thought it was a more difficult question than it was, but yeah, you heard it.
No. Okay, so back to the JD Sports stuff. My dislike for Russ, my disdain for Russ comes from watching this guy, my favorite athlete of all time, just keep doing the square peg round hole thing and never being, hey, I can be a 1B, still be a 1 and win the championship. Instead, he was just like, nah. In today's NBA, it's even worse. You have to be a much better shooter than Iverson had to be, and Iverson wasn't a good shooter.
Right.
It's the same thing with Russ. Russ, you have everything except for shoot. Look, I know Ben Simmons gets made fun of, but Ben Simmons would be Russ if he shot jump shots 15 times a game and missed 30-40%, or only made 30 or 40% of them, whatever. My thing is like he would be Russ, like he did, and so that's why he doesn't do jump shots, because he's more effective not doing that. The game is more effective if you can't do that, then don't do it. If you can do everything else at an elite level, like Russ can, and that was always my disdain for Russ. I did not embrace that enough at the time. I love watching him play basketball.
Same.
I would pay to see any of these guys play, but he's one of the players that I would go out of my way to actually like circle on the schedule and be like, hey, maybe I can go see that game, that kind of thing. Like he's you know what I mean? Like he's that kind of player, because he's going to give it to you every single night.
You're gonna see a show.
But
he ain't gonna win, but you gonna see a show.
He might win that night, but
maybe.
Maybe. And so that's kind of where it's at. Like that's where, and I know that's why you brought up Russ, because I used to hate on him pretty hard, but it's just because like it's not winning basketball. I know you get frustrated,
and it's still not winning basketball. So what's up with the Clippers, man?
So back to Paul George. Well,
come on, man.
They have an identity crisis, man. They don't have anybody to go to at the end. They have nobody to go to at the end of games.
They had all these players. They got Doc Rivers. They had all these pieces, and all of a sudden they were, running a.
You got rid of Lou Will.
All of a sudden.
For what?
Listen, all of a sudden they were running the town until it was time to put up or shut up, and they just been shutting up already, man.
So
come on, man.
Well, I'm with the petty king. You know this. Look, I'm just gonna say it, and I didn't want to speak it into existence, but I already been thinking it. I can't wait to put out the new face of LA picture back up after they get outed in the first round again.
Oh, man.
I can't. That is one of my favorite marketing things ever. When New Balance
and Kawhi Leonard
said that the new face of LA was Kawhi Leonard. I laughed then. Like,
could you imagine?
What are you talking about?
Could you imagine?
He really ate up what the media was saying about him being as good as LeBron. What are you doing? Why didn't you? Well, you didn't. Don't you know how far you want to take me? Want me to take this back? You want to go back to like 2000? We'll just go 2013. Like, you want to do D Rose? Remember when he was better? They're still trying to tell me Steph Curry's better than LeBron James.
As a shooter, maybe, but that's about all I got.
Kawhi, please. He drank the Kool-Aid.
I love
They
Kawhi.
were trying to say
and Kawhi's right there. Kawhi's right there.
He is.
Here's
and that's
my
disdain for Kawhi.
All right, here's a problem with Kawhi. Other than that trip to the finals, which you can't take that away from him.
It was amazing there.
Other than that 1 year, when it comes time to get into the playoffs, what do you do, dude? What do you do besides fall over?
He put the numbers up, but here's the thing.
He did one night.
Well, he put the okay, you're right. But he can. Okay, he can put the numbers up, right? But even when he does, it's not.
like.
It's a better version of Russell Westbrook. You're not always
All right.
winning.
Here's the thing, because everybody's always talking about playoff experience. This is a man that went to the finals, won a championship, right?
Rondo is on their team.
I forgot. Holy crap. But okay, so let's focus on Kawhi though.
You get beat by.
They be talking about, yo, you need championship experience. This man went to the finals. Focus on Kawhi.
For 8 years.
You've been there. You've done it. But yet, when it's time to get to the playoffs, more often than not, you fall over. What is your issue? What is his issue? Does he just get bored? Does he not care? Is he tired? I feel like he just. I don't want to say he chokes. What else is it though? What else is it though? He just shuts down.
Here's the thing.
And he stops being that baller.
Take the 1 year out where he was the limelight, and I know he was incredibly defensively at times for San Antonio, but take the 1 year out where with Toronto where he was the all around everything.
Right.
He really hasn't ever been the all around everything that one thing is what you're trying to say. And I mean, I think you might be right here. So I don't know. Like, why is it he's always one step behind a Curry or LeBron or whatever? I mean, I know again that 1 year in the East he did it, but other than that,
he's got that James Harden effect. I mean, historically James Harden I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Where it's like come postseason time.
Actually, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
This man, it just all of a sudden he can't get it done.
So that also
is he too predictable? Do people just figuring him out?
That also leads me to believe maybe they're just not. I mean, I don't want to say this about a Jerry West put together team, but maybe they just didn't put a good enough team around him. Like,
I don't know. On paper, they look good.
They do look good.
I'm not saying it was,
Why'd they get rid of Harold?
That's a mistake.
You know what I mean? That's
a mistake.
But that's where I'm at. Like, why did you get rid of Ty Lue? Like,
yeah, I know.
You kept Bagley.
Look, I give it to they got Rondo. I'll give it to them. They got Rondo. You need Rondo for the playoffs. But yeah, you lose Montrezl Harrell, that's an issue. You gotta keep Montrezl Harrell.
Oh, good. Yeah. So I'm with you, man. Paul George, when he was a Pacer, he was great in the playoffs.
He was great.
Yeah.
Indiana.
That's it.
He's kind of just like
Oklahoma City. He was terrible.
Honestly, Paul George is becoming an afterthought to me at this point. Regular season, postseason,
and so that's where I get back to.
He's irrelevant.
So Kawhi, even if Kawhi is a good enough 1A, is the 1B that they have, or the number 2 that they have, whatever you want to call Paul George. Is he good enough then?
No.
Obviously not good enough against the other LA team, but I mean, even to maybe
he's too inconsistent.
Luka and Porzingis might be better than you.
Let's go on to the better side of things. Luka's a baller, man.
Oh,
come on, man.
Love him.
Luka and
love him. He's fun to watch.
Porzingis had a career resurgence.
When Porzingis is healthy and plays better than you, I'm not going to give him a one-off because you can't do that in the playoffs, what he did on Friday night. But other than that game, when he plays, look, if he would have played any better, they win that game. And that's how good Luka might be. But those two together, I like Porzingis. So
talk about scary, dude. I was saying Trae Young and who?
Can they get another guy though?
Like Dallas?
Yeah. Would like
listen? I'm not putting anything past Mark Cuban.
I'll give you that.
He got money and he's willing to spend it, so he's always trying to compete. Look, whether or not it works, he tries, and I'll give Mark Cuban that. And look, even Porzingis, let's say Porzingis leaves like tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
You got Luka. You put anybody close to his level with him.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
with
scary.
That.
That's scary.
With that. You
and Luka's a
baller. Some other stuff into it.
You want to talk about
Luka? I agree. Luka's
look, we would
talk of the league in the future. Him and Zion are going to be the guys, and I think he's years obviously ahead of them. So.
Zion, Trae Young, Ja.
No, but I mean,
we're talking about the future.
Yeah, the top guys. It's probably Luka.
I was about to say Luka's probably now. Like he's not.
I agree.
Right now,
I agree. But I mean, like the face of the NBA when LeBron does move on, it's going to be those guys that we're just talking about. John Morant, blah blah blah. Embiid might be if he's still around in there, and Simmons and whatnot. But I just think Luka's going to be the guy.
He's 1 or 2 in the league at that point.
Mm-hmm, I agree.
So yeah. Hey, shout out to Dallas. You know what? More than anything,
look,
shout out to Mark Cuban because he stays in the mix and he puts that thing together.
I agree with that. And when they weren't together, he figured it out pretty quickly, like really quickly. We'll get to the Lakers in a second, but like, could that be? I mean, that's probably like that. I don't know. Do they play them next? Who's next? Could that be a Western Conference Final matchup? Is guess what I'm asking because
honestly, I don't even know what.
I think that. I thought I genuinely, and again, here's my issue with the Clippers. I believed in them a little bit, so I was thinking that the Lakers and the Clippers would be a great Western Conference Final, or they would be the reason. Like that would whoever won that series would be entering out of the West, whether that's the Western Conference Finals or not. I figured that would be it.
The Lakers got the winner of Denver Portland.
Okay, so it would be. So the Dallas, if Dallas moves on, then they would get the Jazz.
Where they at?
Yeah,
Jazz and Memphis. Yeah.
So again, I would say Denver then to the Western Conference Finals as long as they beat the Clippers. And the thing with the Clippers is the one thing I didn't detail enough with the whole identity thing. The best example I have is at the end of games. Games that Milwaukee is losing, because I know that I say how they can't win games when they're losing. The games that Milwaukee is losing, they don't just go to Giannis. Their finisher, they came to the conclusion that Middleton's going to be the guy that takes the shot. He's the guy. So maybe that's just what, like, there's an identity crisis for the Clippers. Maybe that's just what they need to do. Maybe it's just like, hey, you know what? Maybe we don't have to just designate Kawhi as the guy. Let's designate somebody else as that guy and work off of that, because
he's the one. He's the one. It's not Paul George.
And I agree with that.
It's not Paul George. So who else? No, it is Kawhi. It's Kawhi Leonard.
And
until they figure out another piece. It is him,
but
especially when you give up on Montrezl Harrell. I'm not saying he's the guy.
No, I hear you there.
But
you don't have something down there, yeah.
Right, but you throw Montrezl Harrell in there, you can best believe, 9 times out of 10 he's going to hit that shot.
I agree.
So,
or at least you trust him with a shot over a lot of players.
I trust him more than Paul George.
And that's a frustrating spot for Paul George.
It should be embarrassing for Paul George. Like I don't follow. Like I don't look.
Are you scared of Dallas though? If Luka plays that well, I mean, they're tough to beat just in general.
Am I scared? Okay, no. I was about to try to break it down a little bit. But look, if Luka wants to put up 50, God bless. Anthony Davis matches up with Porzingis.
Yeah.
We still got LeBron. We still got LeBron.
I agree.
I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of it, but Luka makes it difficult. Let's put it that way. He makes it difficult. They lose in 5 instead of 4.
But they're not deep though. They're not.
No.
You gotta start going 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 players in.
No, they're not
Lakers all day. I guess that leads us with the last series to talk about: Suns and Lakers. Look, I told you
who's the real 2 seed.
I told you the stat that what was it? Anthony Davis played like 70-some% of the time at center. Last year in the regular season, and his plus minus was like 8. And then in the playoffs, he played forward for like 75% of the time, and his plus minus was like 16. Okay, so it was clearly like you gotta play forward. Game 1, like 80% of the time, they played him at center. They lost. Game 2 and 3, he was at the 4. Guess what?
I'm at the 4, put Drummond at the 5, LeBron still at the 3. That's a problem.
And so to me, that's really just been that it was that simple of that's what was happening in Game 1.
Yep.
There's more to that. Obviously, you can go on and on with we were talking before the show about AD just disappearing, right?
That kind of needs to be addressed because literally, like, AD goes on these kicks where he's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put up 30 and like 12, right? Mm-hmm. And then the next game he'll do. All of a sudden, he's doing he's got 6 points and 4 rebounds. He goes through these spurts. I don't know what is going on with him, but he does that all the time. He did it all season. He needs to get that under control because that's an issue. But once he got over that in Game 1, the next 2 games, put up some 30 points, and he's chilling, and he's good. Shouts to Andre Drummond. He's been doing what he needs to do. He's at the 5. He's starting. He's holding his own. He's been an anchor for us, and I feel like he deserves, as far as like the additional guys or the others, as TNT will call them, he's been holding it down, and he's been doing what he needs to do. Shouts to Drummond. Mm-hmm. But no, as long as Anthony Davis is putting up 25 to 30 points a game, I fully would expect LeBron to do the same, and that's a W, especially against the Suns. Unfortunately, they can't match up against us.
And that's why I deferred to you about that, because sure, there's actual statistics and the analytics side of it that, I like to dig into of reasons I'm like, okay, I think that's why it is. But at the end of the day, I'm still an eye test guy. And what you're saying is 1,000% is where I was at with that too. It was like, okay.
Bigger.
He should.
There's the eyeball test.
There's still something like, all right, like he's at a different position, but like you still got to figure something out.
And look, maybe I think Ayton giving him.
I agree.
He might be giving AD some trouble. Maybe that was the issue. I don't know.
Why not? But
Ayton, shouts to him. He's been balling.
I thought he was a good player in college. I liked him, but
he's been balling the series. And he's been kind of doing the thing that I've been fighting for years. You don't need to be a center and make threes all the time. If you can just get down low, back up, and dominate. That's what Ayton's been proving.
Yep.
And I appreciate and I respect that. Maybe he just had a problem with AD. I don't know. I don't know what the issue was with AD,
But the AD thing, when he is playing bad like that, LeBron
Mhm.
came out and scored 8 points in the first, I think, 2 or 3 minutes of that game.
Mhm.
He ended up scoring, I think, 8 more points the entire game.
Right.
What happens there is if AD doesn't show up, it affects LeBron and then it affects the rest of the team in a trickle down effect. So to your point, you can't have too many of those, or else you're not going to make it out of the playoffs against really good teams. Lucky for them, the best team in the West, the Clippers, that we all thought was going to be their only real talent, is falling apart and everyone else is injured. So it might not bite them like that, but he's got to be consistent.
Yeah, definitely. The Lakers' success is dependent upon AD putting up 30, 25 to 30, and LeBron putting up 25 to 30.
Absolutely.
Because unfortunately, they don't have that third guy.
I agree.
On any given night,
I
it could be Drummond, it could be Harold, it could be Schroeder.
Yeah.
Any given night, they can put up 20 or 30 of their own.
I agree.
It could be Kuzma.
Mhm.
The Lakers are just built in that way. So you need your two front runners to go out there and do what they do. Be LeBron, be AD. And when they are themselves, everything else kind of falls into place and nobody can compete with them.
Yeah,
and their size is ridiculous.
I was just going to say, to add to that, those two together, AD and LeBron, you don't need a third. They're good enough to beat the whole league. They've proven that before. Not only have they proven that, it's just, I mean, you can see it. It's very clear when they are on the floor playing as well they at their peaks. It can happen. Look at the Golden State thing. Golden State, look, I understand Golden State was not a good team going into that that last playing game or whatever, but
they were right there.
They won 20 of their last 25 games. That's a good basketball team. Like, they were not, I know, again, back to the whole eye test and analytics, there's every analytical number bared out that they were the best team in basketball over the last 25 games of the regular season. Every analytical number bared that out. I understand that's because Steph was analytically off the charts compared to anybody in the history of basketball over those 25 games. But the point is like, that was a good basketball team going into that game. And those two were just coming off an injury. They played as good as they possibly could in that game, and they were able to get by anybody. So, like, that's kind of where I look at them. And it leads me to, like, that's who you got coming out the West? I mean, obviously. That's who I have coming out the West, too. I just don't see anybody challenging.
This is what I said to you yesterday, which started off this whole list. Just do a show. Bigs still can dominate. It's still important to be big in the NBA. Yeah. You gotta have size. You gotta be able to crash the boards. You gotta be able to dominate in the paint.
So, you got Lakers in the finals? All right. I do too. We were saying that because, like, the Clippers. So, you got Lakers in the finals? All right. I do too. We were saying that because, like, the Clippers were definitely their hardest matchup, but I don't see anybody really competing with them coming out of the West now. Everyone else is injured.
Nope. We got the size.
Denver's fun. Yeah. Those two versus anybody should win all the time. The East. Who you got coming out the East? Hey. No.
I don't know.
I've had a hard time with
I don't want to say Philly.
Right. Me neither. But I think it's possible. Obviously, them, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, and Brooklyn are the three teams. Milwaukee and Brooklyn look like they're meeting in the second round, so they're going to take a chunk out of each other before they get to Philly.
I'm not against it.
Me neither. And that's also what helps me think, all right, Philadelphia kind of has an upper hand. Those two going at it for a round, then going to Philly. At least Milwaukee is built a lot like Philadelphia. So I expect Brooklyn to win that series. So if Brooklyn does win, at least Philadelphia is going to get some kind of look at them. Some kind of real idea look. We haven't had any look at them. There is not a whole lot of blueprint or paper on those three playing together and that whole team playing together. So that's what gives me to think that Sixers are super good defensively. Defense is super important in the playoffs. That team has not played together at all. Experience, we talked about that. Experience in the playoffs together matters, where Embiid and Simmons have that with Tobias. It's just, and especially when you get into that, because, like, I know basketball's full of fake scuffles and whatnot, but the scuffles are a little more real during that time of the year. You know, like, everything's a little more intense. There's more boundaries and things to jump over that you don't see coming. And that's why I got Philadelphia coming out of the East, only because of that, because Brooklyn probably is the better team. I mean, those three guys together are probably the best team in the league, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to come down to Philly or Brooklyn. That's it.
Yeah.
Whether or not you guys can stop Durant, that's a whole other issue.
And then, I agree with that. Because they can't stop Embiid, but I'm with you. Durant is unstoppable.
If I had to pick one, I'd probably say Philly, but I'm not confident. That's all because I'm just like
Durant
Brooklyn just enough.
Durant fully healthy is the best. He's the best player in the league, and there's so like that's just the X factor. Like it's just kind of where everything's
It
at.
just don't scare me though. I don't know.
They don't scare me because of
They're-
experience. That's what it
They've
is.
never scared me. Ever since
me,
this
it's-
whole super team's been put together, you got Fat James Harden and Durant and Kyrie, who may or may not be
The other thing
into it, or
The Sixers are like 37-7 with Embiid and Simmons playing together this year. They've only lost like 7. You know what I mean? So like that's pretty. Fully healthy at the moment. We'll see.
yeah.
But
But
we'll have to do some more moving forward. We'll definitely have to do one if the Sixers and Lakers do make the finals. But either way, I'll be back. Maybe we'll get this guy back. Thank you for watching.
peace out.